They divorced in 1996. That was nearly 30 years ago. Most divorced couples can barely stand to be in the same room together. But Sarah Ferguson still lives with Prince Andrew. She still defends him publicly. She still calls him her best friend. While the rest of the world has condemned Andrew, while his own family has distanced themselves, while he's been stripped of titles and exiled from public life, Fergie has stood by him. Why? What does she know that we don't? Or is this loyalty misplaced? And what can her unwavering support teach us about relationships, forgiveness, and knowing when to stand by someone versus when to walk away? This is a story about one of the most unusual relationships in the royal family. And by the end, you might see loyalty in a completely different light. Sarah Ferguson, known as Fergie, married Prince Andrew in 1986. They had two daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. The marriage lasted 10 years before they divorced in 1996, amid tabloid scandals about Sarah's behavior and alleged infidelities. The divorce was messy. The royal family reportedly disapproved of Sarah. She was essentially exiled from royal circles. She struggled financially. She made questionable business decisions trying to support herself. At one point, she was even caught in a sting trying to sell access to Andrew for money. By all accounts, the marriage was over. Done. They'd both moved on with their lives. Sarah and Andrew remained close. Incredibly close. They continued to co-parent their daughters. They spent holidays together. They supported each other through various scandals and difficulties. And then, sometime in the 2000s, they started living together again. Not as husband and wife. They've been very clear they're not romantically involved, but as companions, best friends, and co-parents under the same roof. Today, they both live at Royal Lodge in Windsor. It's a 30-room mansion, so they have their own space. But they share meals, share their lives, and present a united front to the world. When Andrew's world fell apart due to the Epstein scandal, when he lost everything professionally and reputationally, Sarah didn't distance herself. She doubled down. She's given multiple interviews defending him. She's called him a good man. She's insisted he's been treated unfairly. She's maintained that the public doesn't know the real Andrew. This isn't just staying on good terms with your ex. This is active, vocal, unwavering loyalty in the face of massive public criticism. Let's look at what Sarah Ferguson has actually said publicly about Andrew, because her words are revealing. In a 2021 interview, she said, "He's a good man. I'm very proud to stand up and say that I married a good man, and that I know him better than anyone." That's significant. She's not just defending his character in private. She's doing it publicly, knowing she'll face backlash. She's also said, "I won't stand by and let him be continually crucified when I know the truth, and I know what he's gone through." Notice the language, crucified, the truth, what he's gone through. She sees Andrew as a victim, someone who's been unfairly persecuted. In another interview, she described their relationship this way: "We're the happiest divorced couple in the world. We're divorced to each other, not from each other." That phrase, divorced to each other, captures something profound about how she sees their bond. The legal divorce didn't end their commitment to each other. She's also been very clear about boundaries. "I'm a fan of Prince Andrew. I believe in him. I believe in his goodness. I'm here to help him any way I can." At the same time, she's tried to be careful not to comment on the specific allegations. "I don't know what happened. I'm not in a position to make judgments about that." This is her strategy: defend his character without engaging with the details of the accusations. Stand by the person while creating some distance from the controversy. It's a difficult line to walk, and she doesn't always succeed. Critics say she can't have it both ways, that defending someone while claiming ignorance about their actions is a cop-out. But here's what's undeniable: her loyalty is genuine. This isn't a PR strategy. This isn't about financial security. She's had her own income streams and could survive without him. This is about something deeper, a bond that has endured beyond marriage, beyond scandal, beyond public opinion. The question is, what does that bond tell us about loyalty, and is it always a virtue? Let's dig into the psychology here, because Sarah's loyalty to Andrew reveals something important about human nature and relationships. First, there's the investment factor. Sarah and Andrew share a history that spans over 40 years. They have children together, grandchildren together, decades of memories. When you've invested that much in someone, it becomes almost impossible to completely write them off. Psychologists call this the sunk cost fallacy. We continue investing in something because we've already invested so much, even when it might be rational to walk away. But I think there's something more here than just sunk costs. There's genuine affection and connection. Second, there's the insider knowledge. Sarah knows Andrew in ways the public never will. She's seen him at his best and worst. She knows his vulnerabilities, his kindnesses, his flaws. When you know someone that intimately, it's hard to reduce them to their worst moments. You see the full human being, not just the headlines. She said as much, "I know the real Andrew." And to her, that real Andrew is fundamentally good, even if he made terrible choices. Third, there's shared trauma. Both Sarah and Andrew have been pilloried by the British tabloids. Sarah faced brutal treatment in the press during her marriage and after. She knows what it's like to be the villain in the media narrative. This creates empathy. She sees Andrew going through something similar and thinks, "I know how that feels. I know how unfair it can be." Fourth, there's the co-parenting bond. Beatrice and Eugenie are adults now, but Sarah and Andrew built a successful co-parenting relationship over decades. They showed their daughters that love doesn't have to end with marriage. That family can look different than traditional models. That shared success in parenting creates a deep bond. They did something right together, and that matters. Fifth, and perhaps most importantly, there's loneliness. Andrew is isolated. His family has distanced themselves. Former friends have abandoned him. Public opinion is overwhelmingly negative. Sarah sees someone who needs support, and her instinct is to provide it. Because when everyone else walks away, when someone is at their lowest, that's when they need loyalty most. But here's the difficult question. Is loyalty always the right response? Or are there times when standing by someone actually enables their worst behavior? This is where Sarah's situation gets really complicated, because loyalty is one of those values we're taught to admire. We celebrate people who stand by their friends and family through thick and thin. But loyalty without accountability can be harmful. It can enable people to avoid facing the consequences of their actions. It can shield people from the growth that comes from hitting rock bottom. She's providing emotional support to someone who is isolated and struggling. That's compassionate. That's human. She's modeling for her daughters that family bonds don't have to be conditional, that you can disagree with someone's choices while still caring about them as a person. She's refusing to participate in what she sees as a media pylon. In an age of cancel culture and instant judgment, there's something to be said for not abandoning people at their lowest point. And crucially, she's not defending his actions, she's defending his character. She's saying, "I don't know what happened, but I know this person, and they're not a monster." There's dignity in that. There's humanity in that. The case against Sarah's loyalty. By publicly defending Andrew, she might be minimizing the experiences of victims. Her focus on how hard this is for Andrew could seem tone-deaf to people who were actually harmed. Her loyalty might be enabling Andrew to avoid taking full responsibility. If everyone abandoned him, maybe he'd be forced to do the difficult work of genuine accountability and growth. Her public statements defending his character while claiming ignorance about the specifics. Critics say that's having it both ways. You can't claim someone is good while refusing to engage with serious allegations about their behavior. And there's a broader question. Does family loyalty require public defense? Could she support him privately while not making public statements that some interpret as dismissing victims? This is the paradox. Loyalty is a virtue until it becomes complicity. Support is beautiful until it becomes enabling. Standing by someone is admirable until it means standing in the way of accountability. Where's the line? And has Sarah crossed it? Honest answer, I don't know. And I don't think there's one right answer. What I do know is that Sarah faces an impossible choice. Because if she walks away, Andrew truly has nobody. But if she stays, she risks being associated with his downfall and being seen as complicit in his failures. She's chosen to stay. And that choice reveals something about who she is and what she values. Sarah Ferguson's loyalty to Andrew isn't just a royal family curiosity. It's a mirror for questions we all face in our relationships. Sarah and Andrew haven't been romantically involved for decades, but their bond is still strong. This challenges our cultural narrative that romantic love is the highest form of relationship. Sometimes, The deepest connections are the ones that evolve beyond romance into something more sustainable: friendship, co-parenting partnership, mutual support. Lesson 2. You can support a person without supporting their actions. This is one of the hardest balances to strike. Sarah tries to do this, standing by Andrew as a person while not engaging with the specifics of what he's accused of. We all face versions of this. A family member who makes terrible choices. A friend who does something harmful. Can you maintain connection while still holding them accountable? It's possible, but it requires clear boundaries and honest communication. Lesson 3. Public and private loyalty can look different. Maybe the real question isn't whether Sarah should support Andrew, but whether she should do it publicly. You can support someone privately, being there for them, helping them through difficult times, without publicly defending them in ways that might seem to minimize victims or avoid accountability. Sarah has chosen public loyalty. Others might choose private support with public silence. Neither is automatically right or wrong, but they have different consequences. When everyone abandons someone, they often double down on their defensiveness. They become more entrenched in their narrative because they have no one challenging them lovingly. Sarah's presence in Andrew's life might be the only thing preventing complete isolation. And from a human perspective, maybe that matters more than public perception. Sarah's decision to stand by Andrew, despite massive criticism, reveals that she values personal relationships over public approval. She values her own judgment of someone's character over collective opinion. That takes courage, even if people disagree with the choice itself. We all make choices about when to stand by people and when to walk away. Those choices define who we are. There's one more layer to consider here. Sarah Ferguson herself has been forgiven and given second chances. Remember, she made serious mistakes. The toe-sucking scandal with her financial advisor while still married to Andrew. The cash for access scandal where she was caught trying to sell connections to Andrew. She could have been completely cast out. Instead, she rebuilt her reputation. She found new purpose through charity work, writing, and advocacy. She was gradually welcomed back into royal circles, especially after the Queen's death. Someone gave her second chances. Someone believed she was more than her worst moments. Maybe that's why she's willing to extend the same grace to Andrew. This is the complicated truth about forgiveness and redemption. We all want it for ourselves, but we're often unwilling to extend it to others. Sarah has lived both sides of that. She's been the person everyone condemned. And now she's choosing to be the person who refuses to condemn, even when it would be easier to walk away. Is she right? Is Andrew deserving of that loyalty? I can't answer that. But I can say this. Her willingness to stand by him, to risk her own reputation, to endure criticism and judgment, that reveals something about the depth of human connection that transcends scandal and public opinion. And in a world that's increasingly quick to cancel, condemn, and cut people off, maybe there's something to learn from someone who chooses a different path. Sarah Ferguson's unwavering loyalty to Prince Andrew is one of the most unusual relationships in the modern royal family. She stood by him through divorce, scandal, public humiliation, and exile. She's defended him when almost everyone else has walked away. She's chosen his well-being over public approval.